We are here on the beautiful surroundings of Whitehaven Beach, and I am joined by a fellow ambassador. Morning, Jess.
Good morning.
Famous Jessica Watson, who's obviously the youngest person to sail around the world, and she's been doing some amazing things out on the ocean. The best expedition is a little bit shorter and a little bit different. When you were out on Pink Lady, in what ways did you keep yourself amused out there? Because we've got 5 people on a boat, and sometimes we have these moments where it's all a bit quiet, there's not much going on. How did you keep amused?
Well, you shouldn't have any problems amusing yourself then. No, I don't know. I mean, there were definitely stints where things got a little quiet, but I was always something to do. I mean, I tried to have my hand at fishing, had absolutely no luck.
We agree with that one.
Fish, yep. Bit pathetic. I don't know, when I got really bored, you can always get the schoolwork out, or there was always cupcakes to bake, something like that. So
that's an idea.
To try a bit of that.
More cupcakes. I like that with my sweet tooth. And obviously you've sailed with some pretty amazing people, pre and post adventure around the world. Who are the ones that stand out for you?
I have to say my brother made a lousy crew. I remember him getting on the boat and just going to sleep. He took over my bunk and went to sleep. It was pretty cool, I have to admit, having Jesse Martin crew for me, because Jesse Martin was, my big hero. He was the one who inspired me to sail around the world, and here he was crewing for me. I was telling him what to do. Bring those fenders in. Can you put that line on the bow? So I really have to say I enjoyed that. That was quite amazing.
Change of roles then for that one. Excellent. So you set yourself another big adventure after the big one round the world, and it's the Sydney to Hobart race with the youngest crew, I believe.
Yeah, aiming to be the youngest crew, well, I suppose, providing all goes well, we will be. It's a really exciting project. We've got 10 amazing young crew, aiming to have a lot of fun on the way, and hopefully, take it fairly seriously as well. So 3 months full-time training, it's going to be a lot of time on the water, and set ourselves to do as well as possible. Of course, the boat will be bright pink, which the boys aren't very happy about.
Big pink boats. Jess loves her pink boats.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bit disappointed we couldn't have a pink boat here today.
I'm sorry we didn't bring the can of paint for this one. Yeah. But you're obviously, so there's going to be 10 of you there, all under the age of?
Oldest is 21, average age is 19 and a half. Luckily, I'm not quite the youngest this time. Going to be 18 to compete in the race, so I've got someone just a few months younger than me at 18.
And it's a big, tough one, the Sydney Hobart. Roughly how long do you think it's going to take you to do it?
Look, it's going to be a 4-day sort of race, depending on weather conditions. But that's a tough 4 days. It's completely different from what I've done. What I've done is taking it cruising, slow and steady, all about preparation. This is going to be all out, so it's going to be quite a different challenge, but really looking forward to learning more about that kind of sailing.
Guaranteed we'll be supporting you.
Cool.
So the best expedition in the world is really following the route of a very famous adventurer, Captain James Cook, all the way up the Great Barrier Reef. If you had one of those hero captains that you could crew with in history, in movies or in a book, who would you go for?
Oh, look, Pirates of the Caribbean. What's wrong with crewing with Johnny Depp? That'd be good fun, hey. Look, we're having a lot of fun here. This is pretty cool. So much because of the setting, but I suppose maybe Bass and Flinders, who did the bottom of the coast of Australia, just because they were such amazing sailors and navigators. There's so much we could learn from them.
So we need to basically get a black permanent marker and put black pearl on your boat, do we?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'll be back. Throughout the journey so far, I've had a pretty easy ride, apart from maybe some 20 to 30 knot winds. And I can tell you the heart was really racing then, because in a kayak that size, screaming down some sort of 2 to 3 metre waves, my adrenaline was pumping. But you out on the open ocean, by yourself, without any sight of land, must have had some pretty scary ones yourself.
Look, I get what you mean though, because it's all about perceptions. Hobie is not built to handle much more than the 25 knots or 25 knots that you experienced. My most hairy moment was probably gusting 70 knots of wind, which is equivalent to sort of the storm we saw in that really terrible Sydney Hobart. And during that night we were rolled over and knocked down 4 times, so it wasn't really pleasant, a bit scary, a bit hair-raising. But my boat was built to handle that, whereas a Hobie, I wouldn't have been too happy. I was pretty nervous, but I was holding it together because I knew that the boat could handle it.
And when you talk about expeditions, it's the same as me. I always say we.
Yes.
It's we. Talk about we.
Yes, I always get pulled up on that one. It wasn't a solo trip. It wasn't a solo voyage. Well, it was, but when I'm saying we, I'm saying me and Pink Lady, me and the boat. And I'm also sort of saying, the whole team, the whole team that is miles away from you, but at the same time, they're there at the end of the phone line, and they're the ones who got you out there. And all of those people thinking of you, we kind of includes all of that.
Them. Yeah. And because I had a GPS that I used to navigate around Africa with, and I called it Lady Penelope. She used to bark orders at me. But in a very similar vein from the Thunderbirds.
Yes, I had Parker. So on the back of my boat, one of my bits of equipment, which was really important, which steered the boat for me pretty much full time, his name was Parker, and I used to get pretty annoyed at Parker. And it kind of made sense because, being a Thunderbirds fan as well, I had the pink boat, which was sort of the pink Rolls Royce, and had Parker to chauffeur me around.
So today, Thunderbirds, I'll go.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Throughout the expedition, we visited some pretty amazing places, but I think my favourite in terms of sailing around in a Hobie kayak has to be the Whitsundays, just for the sheer beauty, the different islands that you get, the experiences and the people you meet. What are your favourite sailing areas for Queensland?
Look, I'm with you. It doesn't get much better than the Whitsundays. It's always nice to sail out of home, actually, but we can't beat that. But look, I'm with you. Whitsundays doesn't get any better. It's absolutely gorgeous. Up further, the coast, Lizard Island, which we're not quite going to get to, is not bad either. You should go a bit further. And get
We're thinking about it.
Yeah,
September the 12th is meant to be the
definitely.
finale, but we could just miss Cooktown and keep going. Who knows?
Definitely.
A lot of time during the expedition we're doing things on top of the water, but also the big ethics of what we're trying to do is show the Great Barrier Reef off for the wonderful underwater world that it is. Have you spent or do you spend much time under the water?
No, look, I haven't actually got my dive ticket yet. It's something that's on the list, but I've always been so busy on top of the water, and look, I can't wait till sometime in the future.
The invite is there. As soon as you get that ticket,
Okay,
come
sure.
out with us and we will take you to some incredible places. We'll go and find Nemo.
Oh.
We'll go and do some things with the whales. We're going to try and find some of the amazing turtles. And really just, there are so many things out there on the Barrier Reef. You have to try it.
Yeah, I love a bit of snorkeling, but I'm going to have to put my head down a bit further and give it a shot.
Blow some bubbles.
Yes.
We had a fairly similar experience, and yours has obviously gone on a lot longer than mine did. But during the best job in the world, I felt I was being dragged in every single direction by TV crews, by interviews, by PR agents, all the different things that obviously when you're doing something big, there's all this media coverage, and you just don't feel you get enough time for your friends and your family. If you were going to take some time out and going to do something in Queensland where you could get away from the world and just hide away for a bit, what would you do?
Look, I'm really boring, and it's true, it's like that. I spend so much time away from home and away from friends and family, so the one thing that I want to do with a spare week is actually just spend it at home. I mean, look, I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. It doesn't get any better anyway. It's
Very true.
It's
Good
an
answer
amazing
as well.
holiday destination.
See, the thing is, if I do that and I have to go to friends and family, I have to travel to the other side of the world, so you got it wrapped
It's cold
up.
England.
And should I sail there?
No.
Okay,
No.
all right.
Planes are a bit faster.
Both working for Tourism Queensland, and you are the Season of Sailing Ambassador. Tell me all about it.
I am, and look, it's a pretty easy and pretty amazing role because what's better than promoting what I absolutely love, sailing in Queensland. Doesn't get a lot better, easy to talk about. And of course my role as the Season Sailing Ambassador means coming up and taking part in some of these amazing sailing events we have here in Queensland. Later this year I'll be taking part in Hamilton Race Week, which is probably, in my opinion, the best of them all. It's amazing sailing in the Whitsundays. It doesn't get much better.
And some pretty special boats there last year, and I think some big ones again going this year.
Yeah, there are, and we've got this whole series of races coming up the coast. I wish I could take part in them all, but I'll be dropping in on some of them and then taking part in a few bits and pieces. And
But you're not sailing in a maxi yacht this year. You're going to be doing something a little bit smaller, aren't you, for race week?
Yeah, well, we'll be doing some preparation for the Sydney Hobart in our Sydney 38. So
Excellent.
Yeah, good practice.
Unfortunately, I will be just off Port Douglas at that stage of the year, so look after it for me.
Yes, will do.
Sure
I'll
will.
have some extra fun for you.
We have two very lucky roles. A lot of people think it's about a lot to do with jealousy. A lot of people think it's about inspiring people. I like to think that if I'm going out there doing something and it makes someone else want to do it, it's about inspiration. And these days, the youth are very, very easy to sit down in front of a computer screen or a TV screen and not go out and enjoy this amazing, great outdoors. Tell us about what your job does and really inspires people with.
Yeah, look, it's interesting, and it's something that I sort of, really enjoyed doing over the last year, and then been given the role as Young Australian of the Year. It's been this amazing opportunity to go around the country, talking to young people, sharing all my messages and sort of my story with them, and hopefully, like you said, through that, inspiring them to get out there and go for some challenge, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be sailing, it doesn't have to be kayaking with Sundays. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy talking to young people, and I think it really is important. I don't think we can put enough emphasis on young people and young people getting out there and going for exciting things, going for their goals.
I think it's a massively important thing to have that, if one child decides they're going to get up and try the sort of thing that you've done, not necessarily going out and going around the world,
Yes.
but getting on a boat and actually trying it for the first time, it's a success.
Look, it's a load of fun. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a hard thing to do.
Once you've done a challenge like that, you're almost left with a bit of a vacuum afterwards of what you're going to go and do. But you had some serious things to go and do, which was school and getting your driving licence and all those sorts of things. And obviously going back and finishing your study is a big one. So I had officially the best job in the world. What would your best job in the world actually be?
It's interesting, like you said, what do you do after you sailed around the world? But there were so many things that I couldn't wait to do. And one of them was actually do a bit of travel because, I'd sailed around the world, but I didn't get to see a lot of it on the way. So I've really enjoyed doing all those things in the last year. And, looking forward, I want to continue with working with different organisations and, an ambassador for the World Food Programme now. So really enjoying that. I want to continue working with them. But next year I'll study a bit of youth work, which is, again, like I've been saying, I really enjoy working with younger people and people my own age, really. So looking forward to that.
Jess, Jess, you're doing fantastic work. You really, really are. Keep it up. And today we're on for a bit of a challenge. We've decided that we're going to head to Hamilton Island. We're here on Whitehaven Beach. It's about 8 nautical miles for all you seaworthy people, and about 15 k's for all you landlubbers. So in about half an hour's time, we'll head off. And it's Jessie's first go on one of these Hobies, but she has sailed a heck of a lot more than me. So may the best ambassador win.
Well, yeah. Good luck.